Hi, my name is Natalie Boone, and I am the business teacher at Madison High School. So, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Beatrice, Nebraska, where I attended Southeast Community College after high school. I met my husband while attending Southeast Community College. We then got married and moved down to southeastern Kansas, south of Neal, which is kind of by Eureka for anyone who's familiar with southeastern Kansas, but easier to say east of Wichita because most people don't really know where that is. So my husband and I got married, and my husband um, wanted to come back and work for the family ranch. So I followed along, as my parents say, and became a rancher's wife. While being a stay-at-home mom, we have four boys, but during the time of having four boys, I attended online classes to finish my associates, and then I finished my bachelor's online as well in business administration, and I was pursuing my master's in accounting when our a local superintendent had kind of reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in teaching any business classes. Years ago, before we started having children, I managed a branch of a bank for a little while, and I enjoyed that, but I wanted to be at home with my kids. So the reason I believe that he decided to reach out to me was due to the fact that I'd kind of expressed interest to fellow school board members. I was on school board at the time for a different district, and I'd kind of expressed interest in perhaps at some point going back to work because three of our four boys had entered school. So you could definitely say I have a non-traditional teaching background. So my four boys definitely keep me busy. They're crazy and fun, and I don't know how to explain it, but they definitely have helped me to become the teacher I am today. So I wanted to include them in here. Cooper is 8, Wyatt is 6, Truett is 4, and Landry is almost 2, but he's 1 right now. So they're always a bunch of fun. They definitely keep us on our toes on the ranch. So being a rancher's wife is definitely interesting to say the least. So we have busy times of the year, and so not to mention now with teaching, it's like busy, busy instead of just crazy busy already. It's like insanely busy. So time management skills is something I definitely had good time management before, but now I can say with teaching I have great time management skills because if I don't allocate time to do different things, it just doesn't work out. So we right now as a matter of fact, are in the middle of bean harvest, so I am filming this and then going to go get on the tractor here in a little bit and cut some bean. Well, I'm going to drive a grain cart is what I'm going to drive, but my boys will be, some of them will be in the grain cart, some of them will be with dad in the combine, but so that's what we're doing right now. It's really busy. We're in harvest time. So to talk about my school. So I actually work at Madison, which is just, for us, it's about 30 minutes north of where I live, but it's just about 20 minutes south of Emporia to explain to anybody who isn't familiar with Eastern Kansas. It's just south of Olpe, if you know where Olpe is. But so I teach at Madison Virgil. I teach 712 business. Madison's a very small school. It's a 1A school. So Madison may be a pretty small school, but we have a lot of school spirit and very supportive community, which I think we're very fortunate to have because it's one thing I think is hard for a lot of towns is the districts just without having a supportive community, it really just doesn't help keep the school alive. So that's something we're very fortunate to have. We have a lot going for us at Madison. I'll kind of get more into that a little bit later, but we have 2 buildings at Madison, one for the grade school, which contains our daycare center that's new this year, as well as pre-3, pre-4 through grade 6. Then our junior high and high school building, which is pictured there, is where I work, and that is just east of the elementary school, and it contains our 712 building. So grades 7 through 12 are there, as well as our new health clinic and Bulldog Inc. So my classroom is a little bit untraditional. So I have an untraditional background, so I figure why not have an untraditional classroom? I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I started mid-year last year, was my first year. And I really kind of left what the teacher had for probably 3 weeks and then decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so I gradually started changing to tables and chairs from desks. And then once we morphed from tables and chairs over the summer, this summer, I moved into what you can see now. So I have a lot of flexible seating options. I call it my flexible seating paradise. We are a one-to-one school with entirely Apple products. Our pre-K through ninth grade, no, through 12th, through 10th grade, I'm sorry, have iPads. And then, well, I should rephrase that because students taking online classes from 10th grade up all have I'm sorry, Mac Airs, as well as 10th and 11th graders have Mac Airs. But if they're taking an online class, then they also have a Mac Air. So 10 through 12 have they can have a combination of an iPad as well as an Air if they're taking an online class as a 10th grader, but otherwise 11th and 12th have um, I iMac Airs. So they really seem to like those. I was not super familiar with Apple products until I came to work for the district. I had a MacBook Pro, but mine was quite a bit older from high school. And so I had gone to an HP and that's what I was familiar with. So it's been kind of a learning curve for me, but less so than some of the older teachers, which I'll get into that later. But so you can see each of my students have their own technology that they bring to my room. So I actually have 5 Apple I have 3 MacBook Pros that stay in my room and 2 Airs that can be checked out from my room but have to remain in the building. So each one of our students has their own device, but so if they need to use one, they can use one. I am fortunate enough that I have devices for my room, as well as I have an iMac computer there, as well as a MacBook Pro, and then we have a Promethean board, as well as our poster printer and color printer and black and white printers. So I have a lot of different resources that are available to me, as well as an Apple TV and different things that are in my room that not every teacher in our district has, that I'm pretty fortunate to say that we have enough technology for anybody to use. So technology is used in many ways in my classroom. One of the biggest things this year that's new is our Bulldog Inc., which is our printing company. So our entrepreneurship and marketing class at Madison is who created this company and is running with it. And we so far are extremely successful. We applied for the Carl Perkins grant and received it for the poster printer, as well as the district kicked in a little bit more to fund that project. As you can see in the pictures, that's our poster printer. We've been fortunate enough to have lots of business from inside the district as well as outside of the district. One of the big things we've been doing are run-throughs, and since doing our 4 run-throughs for our 4 home games, we've had 10 different contracts for 4 different districts surrounding us to create run-throughs for them as well. So it's been pretty exciting. The kids really, really have enjoyed this. I use a lot of different types of technology in my classroom. One of the big things this year that I switched to that the kids really seem to like is I moved to using QR codes for a lot of things. So not only do they get paper products passed out to them, whether it's my rubric or different things like that, but they also contain a QR code on them. And then they can use the QR code to access that with a QR code reader that we have put on their iPads, or if you ask any kid, they have Snapchat, and Snapchat is a QR code reader, if you didn't know that. So they can use that, and they really seem to like that because if they want to, they can snap a picture of that and then go back and use just the QR code to access things. So my bathroom passes, my discipline referrals, all of that I use through Google Forms, and I have a QR code that I develop and have it hanging on a wall in my classroom. They can snap a picture of it, and then they can be referred for a bathroom pass or a discipline referral or any other form that they may need for my classroom, which is great for documentation purposes. You can see here we do a lot of different presentations. That is one of my classes presenting to our school board. Our school board is very cooperative in allowing students to come in and present to them and different things. And so we do a lot of that as well. So some of the other ways that we use technology in our district is we try to be a district that uses our technology district-wide. So as you can see, students are there presenting on the right-hand side of my screen here. They are presenting for a history business cooperative project that we did. So they really seem to like that. That's one thing that we had community members. We had a business night that students as well as community members or friends and family could come in and the students presented to them. And we had a great turnout. The kids really liked it. It seemed to be very successful. So utilizing technology across the district is something we strive for at Madison Virgil. So you can see on the left-hand side, our early learning um, education was selected from one of 10 districts to present at the KSDE conference just a few weeks ago, and our Bulldog Ink printing company printed all of their prints there, as you can see, for them. And that was one thing that we were really proud of, and they really they had a lot of notoriety from people at the conference that were really impressed by that. And so, that's nice that our district can commission things that in which we can utilize those tools all throughout the district. So to further that, on future planning, one of the things that I feel like that we could do a little bit more so is we could use technology throughout the district even more than what we do now. Another thing is I feel like we could use continued education for those educators that don't really have the experience using technology. I'm pretty fortunate. I'm fairly young. That's something we've had technology. We've had computers since I was in kindergarten when I was in school. So I think it's a little bit different in the sense that, like, my parents, for example, had typewriters or didn't have those computers access. So I think it has been a learning curve for some of the older teachers in our district. And so that's one of the things I feel like is if we provided more education for those teachers, that would be good. One thing that our district is currently doing is the Techie Challenge, and that comes out of one of Topeka's districts, and a lot of our teachers have used that, so that's really been good for them. Our district's pretty fortunate. We have a lot of different things going on right now, from our clinic to our poster printing company to we have a 3D printer and a lot of other options. So maybe planning to use those resources more district-wide and incorporating those for one another to use, I think that would be one of the biggest thing. I still feel like we have a lot of room for growth, and that our technology could be more incorporated into work-based learning. I feel like we've done a good job with one of the things we've done this year is my job shadowing and internship class. We've got to go into the health clinic and different things like that for those kids that are interested in those things. But it's been difficult in the sense that I feel that we can do that further. Funding will always be a concern with that, but I do feel that the more we can incorporate of those different tools with work-based learning, the better off our students will be, in the sense that we want those skills for those students to be able to walk out of the classroom and to be able to be successful in the workforce. So this was my presentation. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.